There's a lot of math that goes into understanding exactly how torque and horsepower translate into performance, but it boils down to this. Lots of horsepower gives you high top speeds, while lots of torque makes for brisk acceleration. So, if you're trying to win a drag race, the imposing torque figures a Dodge Challenger or a Ford Mustang produce are what's really going to get your mouth watering. Torque is handy for more than just leaving your competitors in the dust at the quarter mile, but classic muscle cars are the most fun you're going to have with a lot of pound-feet under the hood, and if it's a V8, all the better. Here are the 10 highest torque V8-powered muscle cars. 10. 1968 Pontiac GTO Royal Bobcat 428 with 480 pound-foot of torque. Also popularly referred to as the GOAT, the 1968 Pontiac GTO Royal Bobcat came standard with a 400, but it was available with a bolt-in replacement that brought the torque up to a ridiculous 480 pound-foot of torque. The 1968 model remains the favorite among enthusiasts because earlier models had a major axle hop problem. And all that extra torque goes to waste if you can't maintain a steady transfer of power between your engine and your wheels. These aren't easy to find in great condition, so the 1968 Pontiac GTO Royal Bobcats are a popular Restomod project. At number 9, we have the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda Hemi with 490 pound-foot of torque. One of the true tentpoles of the muscle car era, the 1970 edition Barracuda was offered in coupe and convertible models with an optional 426 cubic inch Hemi V8. If you can find one of these with a convertible top, those are among the most valuable classic cars on the market today, valued at an average of $2 million. 8. 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner 426 with 490 pound-foot of torque. There are more powerful cars than the Plymouth Roadrunner, but this is one of the coolest and most coveted muscle cars ever made, with that distinctive beep-beep horn. An exclusive 383 cubic inch 6.3-liter B-Series V8 Roadrunner engine came standard, but real muscle heads could upgrade to a 7.0-liter 426 cubic inch Hemi rated at a whopping 490 pound-foot of torque at 4,000 revolutions per minute. Number 7, the 1970 Plymouth Superbird 426 with 490 pound-foot of torque. Initially designed as a NASCAR variant of the Roadrunner, the Superbird made its way to the consumer market with a run of anywhere from 1,920 to 2,783 units. These were available with a 426 7.0-liter Hemi V8 or a 447.2-liter Super Commando V8. The 426 reportedly delivers slightly higher torque by about 10 pound-foot of torque more than the 440, which cranks out a still impressive 480 pound-foot of torque. The super cool wing spoiler was just one of the many features that made the 1970 Plymouth Superbird such a cool muscle car. Sixth on our list is the 1968 Dodge Charger RT Hemi with 490 pound-foot of torque. The Dodge Charger had a heck of a year in 1968, with more than 96,000 units having been produced. 17,000 of those were RTs, and one of them starred in the action film named Bullet as the bad guy car chasing Steve McQueen around San Francisco. It's not difficult to find a 1968 Dodge Charger with all its best features intact. And it's not even all that hard to find an RT, but finding one with the original 5.2-liter 426 Hemi V8? That's something of a holy grail for gearheads. Halfway on our list is the 1970 Ford Mustang Boss 429 with 490 pound-foot of torque. One of the most special muscle cars ever built, it's difficult to say exactly how many horses the Ford Mustang Boss 429 had under the hood. The car was rated at 375 ponies, but later estimates have put the car at 500 horsepower and beyond. Some cars are advertised as being considerably more powerful than they are in practice. But the Mustang Boss was a wolf in sheep's clothing thanks to the semi-hemispherical Ford 385 engine under the hood, a 429 V8 developed for NASCAR and sold to the public in a total of 1,359 Boss 429s. Number 4. 1970 Dodge Challenger RT SE 440 six-pack with 490 pound-foot of torque. The Dodge Challenger currently stands as the most popular muscle car in the world, having sold roughly 54,000 units in 2022 alone at a time when muscle car sales were on the decline. The 1970 RT is a dream car for many, and the Hemi-powered RT SE 446 pack is arguably the greatest Challenger ever mass-produced. This model was powered by a 440 Hemi Magnum 6-pack V8, one of the most powerful Hemi engines at that time. If the name throws you off, yes, there are 8 cylinders. The 6-pack refers to the carb setup, arranged in a 3-2 configuration on an intake. Number 3, 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 with 500 pound-foot of torque. With the LS6 engine under the hood, packing a 4-barrel 800 CFM Holley carburetor, the 1970 Chevy Chevelle SS 454 was one of the torquiest muscle cars ever produced. The combination of aggressive high-end performance and cool design have made the Chevelle SS one of the more prolific movie cars on this list, with the 454 in particular showing up in everything from Drive Angry to the Fast and Furious franchise. For our second spot, it's the 1968 Oldsmobile Hurst Olds, with 500 pound-foot of torque. The Oldsmobile Hurst Olds was a special edition Cutlass Supreme that ran in 1968 and 1969, returning for a longer run in the 1970s. The 7.5 Rocket V8 under the hood packed a 4-barrel Rochester Quadrage 4GC carburetor. The 1969 and the 1968 models were functionally identical in terms of specs, but the 1968 is the preferred collector's item for its limited run of just 515 units. The 1968 Sports Coupe, with just 51 models in existence, is one of the most sought-after muscle cars in the world. And finally, our number 1 pick goes to the 1970 Buick GS 455 Stage 1, with 510 pound-foot of torque. Packing a hefty 7.5-liter V8 known as the Hemi Killer, the 1970 Buick GS 455 Stage 1 was a special trim for the Grand Sports 455. As tempting as it may be to add a 1970 Buick GS 455 to the collection, it should be noted that these cars were infamous for cracked engine blocks. The oiling system was undersized and struggled to keep up with the engine at high RPM, which, combined with thin walls in the lifter valleys, made for a car that was a hell of a sprinter, but not much of a marathon runner. Well, there you have it. 10 highest torque V8-powered muscle cars from what many drivers consider to be the classic era. Which of these cars did you find interesting? Comment down below and let's discuss. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button to keep you updated on our future uploads. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one.